Hello and welcome to Politically Incorrect with Manishankar Iyer and Shapan Das Gupta. Well, this week marks the 10th anniversary of the Gujarat riots, in which over 1,000 people were killed in one of the worst carnages of our times. Even before the final report of the Supreme Court monitored special investigation team probing the Gujarat riots is made public, there's been a furor over reports that the SIT has found no prosecutable evidence against Narendra Modi that would establish that he was part of a government conspiracy to allow rioters a free hand in the days that followed the Godhra train fire. Well, as his critics go on the offensive, we ask, can Narendra Modi ever come out of the riot's shadow and be Prime Minister, as BJP President Nitin Gadkari claims emphatically time and again? Or 10 years after the riots, has Modi been convicted by his critics and by public opinion even before the courts make a ruling? Shapan, if I can begin with you, Modi convicted by his critics time and time again?
Well, if Modi had been convicted by his critics, he wouldn't have won 2 consecutive elections resoundingly in Gujarat. So obviously it's not that. As far as Gujarat is concerned, there are attributes to Modi which are more important than him being characterized as a mass murderer, as some people decide to call him. I think it's not that. I think what is happening overall is that because there has been a failure on the part of his opponents to defeat him politically, there has been redoubled efforts made to somehow get a conviction of him from the judicial trial. Now that hasn't worked so far. For 10 years they've been trying on and on again under various guises or the other. Various court cases have been filed. But Modi, the attempt to make Modi personally culpable, and I think that's the important thing. We should recognize that there was a failure in Gujarat. It's apparent. If 1,000 people get killed, that means there was something wrong, there was something inadequate in the response of the administration. There was an administrative failure, and I think that's well recognized. But the attempt to show that this was a pre-planned, premeditated attempt to massacre some people of Gujarat, I think that attempt has so far not
administrative
succeeded.
failure is one thing, but personal culpability and proving that quite another?
I'm not so sure, because after all, the administration was headed by the person concerned. But yes, is Modi personally culpable in the sense that he was part of a conspiracy to promote the massacre of the minority community as a consequence of the fire at Godhra? I don't think that question has been answered. And according to leaks, the SIT led by Mr. Raghavan, a police officer of my batch of the civil service, has said that there's no prosecutable evidence, which must mean that there's some evidence which Mr. Raghavan believes is not prosecutable. But whether it is prosecutable or not is still to be determined. It would appear that the amicus curiae appointed by the Supreme Court has said that there is evidence enough to prosecute Mr. Modi under 3 different sections of the IPC. So there is no haste to convict, otherwise we wouldn't be waiting for 10 years. But there is an obscene desperation to acquit, and I see that obscene desperation in the words used by Shapan Das Gupta. It is true that Mr. Modi has twice won elections since these riots. That is a political endorsement of his leadership of the state, and it will be challenged once again at the end of this year. But the point is not whether the electorate holds him culpable or not. The point is whether the courts hold him culpable or not. And we are in the middle of a process.
The NDTV News app had redefined the entire genre. Now, another market beater. It's already hit #1.
NDTV Profit, India's #1 finance app. Download free at ndtvprofit.com/apps. Live stream of NDTV Profit, market news, and your easy-to-manage portfolio. Download now, ndtvprofit.com/apps.